morning, everybody. I'm Melissa from the Rochester Public Library downtown at Central, and I'm here to teach you today how to make a little felt bluebird. So, and since you guys can't come down to the library because we're closed because of the stupid coronavirus, I thought maybe you might like to see it this way. So you're going to need 2 colors of felt, a tan, and this blue. It doesn't have to be these exact colors. You can use any shade that you happen to have. You will also need a needle, some black embroidery floss, and then some contrasting brown embroidery floss. Now when you download this pattern, which will be posted up, you're going to cut out 2 of the body from the tan. You will need 1 of this body top here in the blue, and you will need 1 wing cut out in blue. I cut these out ahead of time so you wouldn't have to watch me do it. Now, the first step after you've cut out all of your birds in pieces, is you're going to take your black embroidery floss here. You want 3 strands. If you want them to be if you want the embroidery to be less, stand out less, then only use 2. But I like a little more bold, so I'm using 3. So now I'm going to thread my needle. Okay, and put a knot in it. Okay. And then what you're going to do is come up. You're going to be doing the eye in what we call back stitch. So to do back stitch, if you've never done it before, you come up, go down a little farther away, and then you come up about the same distance as your first stitch here. Pull the needle up, and then go back down where you first came up, like this. Okay? And that's back stitch. So you're going to do that around the whole eye, and when you get done, I'll come back and show you the next step. Hey everybody, welcome back. So as you can see, we have our little bluebird top here with his finished eyeball. And now the next step you're going to do is we're going to attach the wing to the body top. This is, of course, the wing piece that you've cut out already. And as you can see here on your diagram, these are the embroidery lines, the lines of the decorative stitching that we're going to be putting in. Now, if you're new to this, don't worry. You don't have to put all these in. Put in as many as you like to get an effect. You just want to basically mimic the feathers on the wing. That's all. You don't have to go crazy. So I'm going to show you how to get started. You're going to place your wing on top. You can adjust it up or down depending on how you want your bird to look. I like mine a little more up, so we'll put him right there. And again, this time though, we're using the brown floss because we want it to contrast. You want to be able to see it. I've already threaded my needle and tied a knot. So now you're going to come up right about here and go ahead and go up. And if it's not right there, don't worry about it. You can start wherever on this wing you want. Again, go down, and we're just going to do more of the same stitch we did with the eye, which is the back stitch. Okay, so up, down, and make sure you keep your stitches relatively uniform in size so it comes out looking nice and neat. You don't want to make them big and huge because then it's going to just look way sloppy. So take your time, be very careful about where you're putting your stitches. No, there's no rush to do this. Okay, and then just follow the diagram here again with where you place your stitches. They don't need to be precise, so remember you're only going to look to mimic the look of feathers. And I'll come back when you're done. Everybody, welcome back. So now as you can see, we've got the wing and the body top of our bird here. All of the stitching has been put in for the wing. So now the next step is to attach that to the bird body. Now of course you're going to need two bird bodies, front and back. It's going to go on like that. Flip it over and match your side up. So now we do. And very important, make sure your tails line up when you're doing this. Okay. So now you're going to be sewing this together with what's called blanket stitch or whip stitch, either. I usually do whip stitch, so that's the one I'm going to show you. If you're more comfortable with blanket stitch, by all means use that one. You're going to be doing it with the contrasting brown embroidery floss, again, 3 strands. So now, keep in mind, because we're going to be stuffing this bird with some fiber fill eventually, you don't want to stitch all the way completely around and not leaving yourself enough of a space. So when you're stuffing, usually when I do these, I start here at the bottom of the tail, work my way all the way around until I get to about this part here on the belly. And that's where I would stuff. So to start, you always want to make sure you're not hidden in the back of your bird where no one will see it. Oops. Oops. Be careful not to come through the blue part like I almost did. You're gonna go. And this is just whip stitch. It's very easy, very fast stitch. Okay. When you're doing this, make sure you catch the top of the bird top there like that, okay, all the way around. Okay, and you're just going to do that same stitch all the way around, and when we get back to here, I'll come back and show you how to stuff it and we can finish the bird. Everybody, welcome back. As you can see, I've stopped at a pretty good sized distance so we can begin to stuff our bird. Now I've got some regular old fiber fill stuffing. Any kind is fine. You don't want to use a lot to start with. Less is always better to start with these things. And don't worry too much about stuffing the tail here because the tail is going to look pretty fine without that. And you don't want to stuff this bird a lot. You just want enough to give him a little bit of a definition, just to give a shape. Just stick in like that. Kind of work around. And there, see that tiny little amount I used? That's about good for him. You can always manipulate a little bit more towards the edge if you want. And now we're just going to stitch him up and finish him, and then we're going to come back and I'll show you how to satin stitch his beak. Hi everybody, welcome back. So as you can see, our bird is all stitched together and stuffed, and we just have to satin stitch the beak on him. So again, you're going to have a needle threaded with 3 strands of black embroidery floss. Sorry about that. And what you want to do is try and hide the knot inside your work. You don't have to. I mean, it's not the end of the world if somebody sees it. It's just what I like to do. So, kind of like that. You can always trim those little bits off there. No big deal. So now what you're going to do is wrap it around his beak, around his head like that. Come up around here and just around and down again. This is not normally how you would do satin stitch if you're embroidering, but because you're kind of embroidering a weird shape, that's how you're going to do it. Okay, so just hold it in place and stitch. And that'll keep it. And just do that until you get to the end of his beak, and then your little bluebird is all finished. Congratulations, and look for our next video. Probably in about a week, we'll be doing a little ribbon flower. So those will be up on Facebook. See you then. Bye.